Welcome to the video. We're going to paint some men-at-arms, some Bretonnian men-at-arms in a multicoloured, multi-heraldry pattern to make a more interesting unit for the field. First we're going to use some Doombull Brown. We're going to paint all the shoes and boots across all of the miniatures with this one. Next we've got some Thondia Brown. We're going to do the undercoat on this one, but feel free to mix all the different browns up across the miniatures to get a bit of variety in the army. But on this example we're going to use the Thondia Brown for the undercoat. Now we're going to use some Bugman's Glow. We're just going to pick out the face and the hands. Just mind some of the miniatures don't have hands, they have gloves instead, so use an appropriate colour for that, probably Doombull Brown. Got some Rakarth Flesh now. We're going to use this for all of the belts. If there's any bandages or what looks like bandages on the arms and sometimes on the legs of the miniatures, we'll use it for this. Yeah, don't worry about being too neat. Next up we got some Baneblade Brown for the leather vest that we've got there. Try and be a little bit neat around the bits that you've already painted. If you do make a mistake, just touch up with the old colour. Now we've got some Doombull Brown again for some of the pouches. For all of the little trinkets and attachments you've got on there, feel free to mix the colours up if you want some variety within the unit. Now we've got some Kislev Flesh to just do a quick spot highlight on all the flesh. Don't worry too much about this, we're going to go over it all with streak and grime, so it doesn't need to be neat, just needs to catch the most prominent points so that it comes through once you wipe the streak and grime off later. Some Dryard Bark now. We're going to use this for all the wooden parts, so that will be the shafts on the halberds and the back of all the shields on all the models as well. Leadbelcher now to do all the metallics on the model. So this will be the trim on the shield and the halberds on most of them, and all the helmets. Some of them also have neck guards, so make sure you catch all of those, and there's some belt buckles and other little bits around the model that you might want to pick out with this. Try and be super neat with this one. It's one of the last colours to go on before the heraldry, so trying to be as neat as possible towards the end now. Next up, we've got Baneblade Flesh for the first part of the heraldry. This is the part that makes the model pop, makes it look a bit more interesting. So try and take your time with this, try and be as neat as possible. We don't want to get any on the existing stuff we've already painted. Although if you do, it's easy enough to just touch it up with the original paint. Take your time, make sure you're not rushing this one. You don't have to rush, there's not much to do. You've got the little bit of cloth around the necks on all of them, and then you've got the front of the shield. In this example here, we're just using the shield. We're just painting the whole shield so that we can go over it with the next colour. Now we've got the other half of the heraldry, so we've got the corn red. Again, same as before with the Baneblade Flesh, just try and be as neat as you can. Try and make sure you get the nice clean straight line between the two colours on the cloth around the neck, and anything you're doing on the shield, just make sure you try and be as neat as you can. In this example, I've used masking tape, some Tamir 2mm masking tape, to make sure I get very crisp, clean lines on the shield, but don't worry about it, you can do it by hand. It just takes a little bit more time and neatness. Now we're on to the fun part. So we've got Streak and Grime from AK Interactive. Get an old brush and just slap it on. No need to be neat, no need to think about it at all. Just slap it on all over until everything is covered. Make sure you cover everything. It will look a bit strange if you don't, but that should be covered in the next step anyway, when we start to use the mineral spirits to take it back. Next up, we've got some odourless white spirit. So you want to take a little bit of it, put it in an old jam jar or something, so you can take your earbud, soak it as you go. And what you want to do is you want to get your earbud nice and wet, and then you want to just tap a little bit of that odourless white spirit onto the model. You want your streaking grime to have sat for about 20 to 30 minutes, so it's quite dry, and you want the odourless spirit to get on there and reactivate it, so that you can then, in a gentle swiping motion, so you don't want to be pushing on the model, you just want to be gliding over the top of it, or even rolling the earbud works as well, to just remove the paint. And as you can see, it comes off a treat. It leaves a nice Grimdark aesthetic to the model with next to no effort in terms of shading and layering or any of that. You base, you put streaking grime over the top, you then use the white spirit to take it back, and you're left with a super easy, super quick, effective paint job that looks like you've put a lot more effort into it than you have. And when you're painting large numbers of models, this is really an easy way to get them all on the table looking good. You want to keep working it in small layers. Don't be tempted to just hammer at the streaking grime with the earbud. You might damage the paint underneath, although the white spirit won't react with acrylic paint. If you've used Citadel paints, they're all acrylic. It won't react with it. It is only paint, and if you rub it enough with the earbud, you will, the cotton on the end is actually quite abrasive, so it will rub the paint off, and ruin the paint job that way. So just take your time with it, be gentle, do lots of passes, put more white spirit on if you need to. Don't worry about it, take your time. Now when we get to the shield, it just slides off. It looks lovely. All of that little battle damage that you scratched in earlier, all the tiny little scratches that you made, will pop right out with the streaking grime. They all look like they disappear when you've painted it and you've base coated it, but it all pops back out now. And it lived, considering the shield on the Bretonnian Men at Arms is the focal point. It really comes up a treat and looks great for little to no effort. So this is the model once it's semi-dry, not completely dry. Obviously it goes completely matte once it's done, but this is after the white spirit, so it's still a little bit wet, and it will stay wet for about 24 hours. So you want to really leave them alone for a whole day. Do them one night, pick them up the next night. As you can see, it gives a lovely finish. Like, you've put a lot more effort into it than you have. And this is a example of a model that was done the night before, so this is what it looks like when it's dry. You can see it looks a lot more matte now, a lot less shiny. Obviously this was done the night before, so there's still a little bit of sheen to it, but that will all go in time, so don't worry about that if they look a bit shiny. And this is it once it's based. So I'll do some other videos on basing, but yeah, just some base ready from Geek Gaming, nice and simple. And of course, here's the final result. So as you can see, you can do this, and all you need to do is change the colours of the shields, change the colour combinations that you use for the heraldry. I like to do this on my units because it makes it a bit more interesting. If you're painting 20 or so models, you don't want to be painting the exact same thing. But yeah, all of this is done in exactly the same technique, just basing with streaking grime over the top. And hopefully you'll agree that they look like you've put a bit more effort into them than just that. A couple of transfers, but I can do other videos on that. But yeah, I'll just let you enjoy the video now.